All right, welcome back. Supplement Kitchen Reviews here today with our another Behind the Brand segment. And today we have UXO Supplements. We've dealt with them before in the past. Great brand. We're going to get to know a little bit more about their owner, get to know a little bit more about the brand and what's upcoming. So let's get started. All right, sir. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you. And on a personal level, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you having us on. Honored to be here. But a little bit about me. I'm kind of an old school cat. I'm a vet. Served 2 tours over in Afghanistan. That's what really drove me into like the fitness industry, right? My business partner, Doug, he can't join us, unfortunately, today. He's still in. He's serving his U.S. Army Ranger. He just competed in the best Ranger competition for the U.S. Army. So like he's at the pinnacle when it comes to, elite soldiering. He's looking at actually jumping in and going for selection for special forces. For myself, I got up there in age, though, got to a point where the military breaks down your body. Knees are broken down, back's weak, hearing's half gone. And so I decided it was time to kind of exit the military and just find something new. But that's kind of, they'll segue right into the business, but that's really what formed UXO. We got out and I knew I needed to do something different. Like I'd served my country for years. And so that day that you take off your uniform and you hang up your boots, it kind of, mind fucks you. Sorry, excuse my language,
You're good.
Just like a sailor. But yeah, it really fucks with you, because you've served your country, you've done something with purpose, you've for all those years. And when you get out and you get like just a regular job, it's like you lose your identity, you lose your, what's my path forward? Like, what am I going to do to continue to, do something meaningful? And that's kind of what sparked UXO. Like with me being inside the military and being a guy who suffers from PTSD and has anxiety, the VA, the one thing that I don't like is they're quick to throw medication at you, right? So they throw like, antidepressants, they throw, anxiety medication, and all those things just fucked me up even worse, just made me feel lethargic, just not myself. The one thing that I found that really helped me was physical fitness. That was my therapy every day, going in the gym. Even today, when I have a rest day, I still go in the gym and I at least walk on the treadmill. I have to do that to kind of like reset my mind and clear things out. So that became our path forward. We knew we wanted to be in the fitness industry, and we saw that there was an opening in the sports nutrition market where we could enter and have quality ingredients and quality formulas, using trademark ingredients that were safe and effective to use for both soldiers and athletes alike. And, we started off with one product, and here we are today with, I think, 16 different products, So it's been quite the journey.
Heck yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you definitely for your service for our country. It's definitely a top priority, and we definitely appreciate everything you've done for us and your partner as well. And that dude sounds like an animal, man. Dude's going through all that stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And another thing, I love what you said, man. I preach this daily. People, I deal with what I do daily. I deal with a certain type of people who go through certain things like that as well. And I tell them, man, fitness is the way out of medication. I'm a firm believer. If you can get in there and get in the habit, that's the hardest part, is getting in that habit of at least exercising and then rolling into more and more. It clears your mind. Like you said, it makes you feel like it just makes you feel better overall, mentally, physically, everything. So,
it's proven. I mean, just even getting in there, even just if you're walking on a treadmill, anything of that sort, releases the endorphins in your brain, just makes you feel better. Yeah, I definitely notice a difference. The days that I skip the gym, maybe I'm have too much going on or I'm sick, like noticeable difference in the way I feel mentally on those days,
Amen. I'm right there with you, brother. Cool deal. Like I said, it's a good segue, kind of roll into the brand here. The name, let's touch on that a little bit. Where'd the name come from?
So UXO, it's a military term, means unexploded ordnance. So it's kind of like, there's ammunition or there's munitions that haven't been detonated left out in the battlefield, whether it's like, bombs that haven't gone off or, even IEDs. So there are things that are out there that, if you use them, they can unleash devastating results, right? So much like a UXO, if you trip a UXO, it could detonate and it could cause some serious damage, right? So that's kind of like what our thought process was behind the formula. Is like every formula we designed, has a purpose in mind. And like our pre-workout Send It that you have right there, our flagship pre-workout, super proud of that product. And I feel like it's unmatched by any other pre-workout on the market. I'm kind of biased, but
Hey, you got to be, definitely. But definitely is a quality product. It's still one of my favorites to date. One of the ones that I've used consistently, things like that. So that's a good another kind of segue into the products. I know, like you said, y'all have 16. You have everything from essentials to pre-workout protein, BCAAs. So let's talk a little bit about the products. Maybe your top 3, top 5, whatever for the company.
Oh man, there's so many to choose from. It's like I was saying with our past, what's kind of cool is like we started the company with $10,000, right? And we've grown it to now we have $200,000 plus worth of inventory and no debt. So it's definitely been a grind. But I would say Send It, well, it's a toss-up. See, we have pre-workout V2, right? And that one was our original formula. We called it V2 because we actually originally started with that same formula, but it included BCAAs in it. And we kicked BCAAs out and we made it V2. It just made it more cost-effective for us to produce, and we could do 30 servings versus 20. But that was the one that started it all for us, and people loved the flavor of that pre-workout. They loved the effects they got from it. So I'd have to say that one's got to be my top pick.
Okay.
From there, though, the only thing is for especially supplement snobs, right? You got pre-workout V2, and it's all kind of generic ingredients. It's just citrulline, and you got betaine and beta-alanine. It's all just basic, ingredients. So then we fine-tuned it. And I wanted something that was really going to differentiate us. So we created Send It that has 4 trademarked ingredients. You've got nitrosogene, you've got S7, you've got, what else do we have in there? Oh my God, estrogen. And you also have
glycersize.
Glycersize. So we changed from glycersize to nitrosogene.
Oh, okay. I had the older one. Okay.
Yep. And then the other thing is we switched over to NeuroFactor. We use that for like the focus and everything. So I'm really proud of this product because I feel like we really did a good job of differentiating it. The hardest part though is when you use a bunch of nitrosogene or like glycersize, makes it a little bit chalky. So then you have people that are like, oh, they can't handle the chalkiness of it. And but it's very rare that happens. But so I'd say those are my top 2. Send It, pre-workout V2. What's crazy, we just released our daily essentials though. Just a multivitamin, 100% of your daily values, but it includes, trademark probiotic, a trademark prebiotic, and digestive enzymes in it. And we launched it and we hyped it up, and it's been our biggest release to date. People went berserk over it, which kind of shocked me. We've sold more of it than any other product. And a multivitamin is not a sexy product to sell. It's not like, hey, check out this badass multivitamin, right? But people went ape shit over it, and so that's a top one for me. And then Charlie Mike, that's the last one that I really love. Charlie Mike is your essential amino acid formula. You got all 9 essential amino acids. You've got coconut water for hydration, pink Himalayan salt. And then you also have peak O2 for your elevated VO2 max. And that's a great formula. I love it. I notice a difference in the gym when I'm using Charlie Mike versus like just regular BCAA. Yeah. And the good news too, for all those that follow us and everything, is we're launching a new flavor in that here in about 3 weeks. Yeah. So the lineup continues to evolve,
and that's that's a big thing right now. You know, the market has kind of hit from ingredients. I mean, you know, we're kind of at a standstill. There's nothing that's like kind of blown out.
Yeah, nothing
so
revolutionary, you know.
So now it's the flavor game. So now everybody's, you know, it's limited edition, or you got to try and step your game up as far as that goes. So, you know, within the last, I mean, dang, as long as I can remember. So, but we're going to say within the last 7 years, flavors across the board in the supplement industry have went from crap to actually amazing. So you got to be able to compete in that.
Yeah. And that's what I love. You know, we have some really good lab partners. Like, we'll throw them ideas and they'll send us samples of stuff, right? And that's another product too that I forgot about. But our post ISO, you guys actually did a review on it, right? So we sent out to the lab. We're like, look, we need something different. Like the chocolate, the vanilla, it's just not doing it. We need something that's going to really, you know, capture the taste buds and kill it. And they sent us that blueberry cobbler. And originally thinking of blueberry cobbler for protein, I was like, eh. But after I had it, I was like, man, it's legit, you know. And the fact that they put in inclusion in there, so it's got little bits of blueberries and protein bar to get it that texture. They killed it. And yeah, to your point, like, you almost have to. You have to get creative. You have to differentiate yourself, not just in the formula, but the flavors in order to compete. I mean, this market is so saturated.
Yeah.
You know? So it's difficult, especially for smaller companies. I've seen so many new companies come and go already, you know, just because you have to find your niche, and flavoring has to be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. And back to the multivitamin thing, you actually, you know, people, not just you guys, but other brands I've talked to, people go wild when it comes to that stuff. You'd be shocked. Well, you're not shocked, but anybody listening, you'd be shocked to know that more people probably buy essentials than they do like this stuff, because and not everybody is educated as far as that goes. So they think they have to have that to be healthy as far as that goes. But that is something that does really well in the market. And it doesn't shock me for you to say that. That's funny.
Really? Yeah. I would say kind of, you know, I was blown away by it because I was honestly fearful of how people would react to the daily essentials, because we have all the trademarked ingredients in it and the chelated minerals, which are easily absorbed. So it's an expensive multivitamin. I think we're like $30 is what we're charging for it. And I was like, but how are we going to compete with, you know, you walk into Walmart and you see an $8 bottle of multivitamins. I was like, it's going to be hard. But, you know, I was astonished at how much of it we moved.
Then that shows that your customer base is educated. One, because the stuff you get at Walmart is pretty much crap.
Yeah.
And they understand the value that you've put into that they're probably actually getting, you know, 90 to 100% daily value exactly of what they need.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And then, you know, another thing on that is the cool thing about having that is I talk to smaller brands all the time, and we kind of talk through business. And the one thing I'm a firm believer in is not you do need new customers, but that's not the big key. The big key is when you have your first customer or one customer who buys from you, have them come back, because the first time they get this, second time they come to get this, and then they have that one-stop shop. So they're going to pick their protein, their multivitamins. Having that one-stop shop is huge. So I think that probably plays another part into that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, retaining customers is key. And, you know, like we've discussed, I mean, it's a saturated market too. And so when you do get those customers in, you have to capture them. You have to lock them in, whether it's through your story or through your product. I mean, shit, they're on Facebook throughout the day getting hit up by Redcon 1 at least 100 times, right? Not calling out Redcon 1. Like, I like what they do, you know, but I just look at these big dogs that have $1 million marketing budgets, and like, you know, they have an advantage. The small guys, it's rough, you know, and that's why I love that you guys do this for, you know, the smaller supplement companies, to get them to tell their story and who they are. I think this is great that you guys are doing this, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. And that's the biggest thing, you know, when I started this thing, and it still is, it's a hobby, and it's building those relationships, because and this is my personal opinion, but smaller brands that I've dealt with throughout this thing seem to do it right, like 80% more than the bigger brands I've seen or talked to before. So I'm a firm believer in supporting that. But with that being said, it'll roll us right into the next kind of question here. What is your targeted audience? I know this is going to be a hard one for you, but what would you say if you had to put kind of a target on it?
You know, I think that, well, obviously it's, you know, military is our niche. Like that's who we go after, right? And the big thing is we're looking for vets. We're looking for people who are active duty. We're looking for people who are patriots. Like another big thing about our company too that really differentiates us from the competition is, like I said, when I got out of the military, lost my way, how was I going to give back? So for us, it was never in the beginning, it wasn't about like, hey, let's make a quick buck, or else we would have quit like fucking years ago because we didn't make money up until last year. But every product, you know, we give 10% of all of our proceeds to nonprofit veteran organizations. So we work with the DAV, we work with Mission 22, we work with Homes for the Troops. And, you know, we have a couple big events coming up too to support them. But that's who we look for in our customer base too, is people that can relate to what we stand for. Like, you know, we don't have big name athletes on our team that are competing in Olympia or, you know, big name athletes that we're paying a monthly salary to promote our stuff. Like, we're just raw. We're just like, here's who we are. We're soldiers, we're vets, and we're doing this, you know, as a way of life now, but also to help support these nonprofit organizations. Like, this is our mission going forward. This is how I stay grounded and focused, as like, hey, I'm doing something with meaning, right? And I'm giving back to these veteran nonprofit organizations that mean a lot to me. Like I said, with me being diagnosed with PTSD, and PTSD is the #1 killer of vets leading to suicide. And the number is staggering. 22 vets a day take their lives. And I've seen it. I've had friends that have taken their lives because they couldn't deal with their internal demons. So for us, I'm very passionate about being involved with Mission 22 and those different orgs. So that's what we found our niche is. People find out about us. They read more into us, like, oh, I didn't know you guys did this. I didn't know you guys did this. I didn't know you guys were veteran owned. And, you know, that's where we kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Resonate with patriots, soldiers, you know, people like that.
Hell yeah, man. And I think I saw it on your site, but vets get a discount?
Oh, yeah. So we try and give back to, like, anytime we have an order that comes through that's an APO address, we throw in extra goodies, you know, just to help build morale.
A good time to talk about it. What events do you guys have coming up?
Well, we got a couple big events. We got another strongman competition. Have you ever been to a strongman competition?
No, actually I haven't. It's on my to-do list though.
Yeah, you need to. It's much different from like a bodybuilding show or you know, even powerlifting. The strongman, they do it big out here. So we're doing an event with one of the gyms, Berserker Strength and Conditioning. It's a big strongman competition. The last meet they had like 100 plus competitors. The place was packed. But when you go to one of these events, it's hype. Like the audience is getting into it. Everybody's screaming, and it's a great time, you know. And I love getting to meet people, you know, the competitors and the audience alike. But we're going to be raffling off an AR at the next one. The last one we raised was close to like $3,000 for the local DAV. So now we've got another AR, custom one that we built up, has a scope and everything on it. And all the proceeds that we raise from that are going to go to Mission 22 this time. Shortly after that, we've been hyping it up. We're doing a Ruck 100. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this, but we're doing a 100-mile ruck march over Memorial Day weekend. So there's 3 of us. My business partner is supposed to be flying in, doing it with me, myself. We've got another guy that served. He was an Army captain, right? And he actually works for Compound Solutions. Yep. So he's flying in. He heard about it. He's like, I've got to do it with you. And I was like, that's great, man. Like, you know, I was humbled that he would want to fly out. So he's flying out and staying the 3 days. And yeah, the 4 of us are going to be heading 100 miles over 3 days. So, you know, as much as we can do. We've been prepping on this thing since January, and my feet are beat up already. Like they've been blistered every single week because we're just putting in miles and putting on more weight. The whole goal behind this is to bring more awareness around veteran suicide. So the Ruck March itself, we're doing it in memory of those we've lost, but we're also raising donations and raising awareness for Mission 22 to help them with their cause. And if you guys aren't familiar with Mission 22, I encourage you guys to go look at what they do. They're a true 501c3 nonprofit organization, but they put together, treatments and programs for vets who suffer from PTSD to really, take a chunk out of that number that we see of daily suicides. So we'll see how that weekend goes. But we're going to be carrying a flag. We've already got a bunch of sponsors on board. We've had like 5 or 6 different companies sponsor the event. And all the proceeds, we're not taking a single penny. Like all the proceeds goes to Mission 22. All the resources that we pulled in, like the nurse that's going to be on staff, all the other stuff we're paying for out of our own pocket.
Hell yeah, man. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I've seen you guys preparing, and I follow what's his name from Compound Solutions as well on Instagram.
Spencer? Yeah.
So I've seen him as well prepping. So it looks intense, and you guys, man,
dude,
good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll tell you what, my buddy put me on. I've been in the gym for quite some time. I've been out of the military now for like 6 years, so I haven't rucked in forever. But he gave me their plan for the best ranger competition. It's like every week you go up 10 pounds in what you're carrying, right? So it may not sound like a lot, but last week it was 75 pounds, and you had to go 8 miles every single day. And once you hit like mile 3, your shoulders are completely dead. There's nothing left there. It's pretty brutal, but yeah, I'm excited. I know that there's only 2 other people I've seen that have really completed this. Even when you go to selection for special forces, I think most you do there is like 60 miles. So we're trying to crush that,
Yeah, it's definitely different. I wrestled for all the way up until college, so I know that's a different type. And the gym is different. I can't do CrossFit, so I don't. Everything has its own little pros and cons. So I definitely am going to be following along and seeing how it goes, man. I'm going to be praying for you guys and hoping it all turns out well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I didn't know you wrestled. Where'd you wrestle at?
So I wrestled in Virginia, all the way from middle to high school, and then I was going to Carson and Newman in Tennessee, small D2 school to wrestle. Ended up dropping the wrestling program, and then I kind of didn't go anywhere from there. Got fat and old and had kids.
Yeah, that happens, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, so that's life. But cool deal, man. Let's keep it moving, man. We already got some good stuff here. What do you have to accomplish within the next year with the brand?
Oh man. No, we had this so we have our vlog, and the vlog has been such a pain in the ass to shoot because we shoot weekly, and it's just trying. Sometimes I have to film myself, and sometimes I have people that are available to help me, but we set out this year and we've crushed almost every single goal. Like at the beginning of the year is when we said we were going to do the 100-mile ruck, so we've already got that in place. For me, like incline bench, I was like, I got to hit 300 pounds on incline. I already crushed that. And then for the business, it was like, I want to double in size. Right. And we're on pace to crushing that too. Like this has been a good year, and what's crazy though, is thinking about it. And a lot of people, like, if you look at us, we've been around since 2015, UXO. And, we started it with $10,000. Really didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We made plenty of mistakes. I remember Price Plow, the first time we ever sent our labels to Price Plow to look at, like Ben over there, right? Mm-hmm. He was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, these are all fucked up. And so but we learned from our mistakes and we pushed forward. But a lot of people may not know this, though, because we've been around since 2015. But every penny we made, we dumped back into the business to make it grow and, launch new products and build our inventory levels. So I just recently left my job. Like I was working full time up until it was February of this year. So I finally quit my job and jumped into this thing full time, put myself on salary so we can continue to get it to grow. But it's crazy what they say. They say you have to burn the boats and jump into something. there's nothing more truer. It was like a switch flipped. The minute I left and focused on this thing 100%, it just skyrocketed, and it keeps going, which is great, you know. So for this year, I still want it to double in size. We are signing a lease on our first warehouse space, which I'm super stoked about. Like,
hell yeah.
everything we've done has been drop ship. Like, we've used a drop shipper to ship, and we piggyback off of theirs. But now we're taking it all in. We're like, screw it. Like, we're getting our own warehouse space. We're going to do everything. It's got a nice retail front in it, so you know we can do business out of there. And yeah, so that's the plan for this year. And then going into next year, who the fuck knows? I don't.
Yeah, well, especially after 2020 threw a wrench in there, you know. I mean, if you know, I tell a lot of people, especially smaller brands and growing brands, is if you can survive something like that and you're continuing to grow now after the fact, you're good. You should be able to make it in this market. So that is awesome, man. I'm excited to see you guys get a warehouse, and hopefully the vlog will give us a tour. And
hell yeah, definitely, man.
Where are you guys located again?
Boise, Idaho.
Okay,
that's what we're out here. And that's the other thing out here for people aren't aware, but like Boise's the #1 rated or fastest growing city in America right now. And it's nuts. Like the housing market's gone crazy. People from Texas and California are moving in, and they're projecting that we're going to double in size in the next 2 years. Like right now, houses won't stay on the market. The minute they go up, they're bought, and people are paying cash for these homes. They're selling their homes in California and coming here and just buying up these properties. So yeah, you know, we're trying to keep up with the growth here, and you know, trying to stick to our roots and staying true to who we are.
Oh, yeah. That's good. You know, good economy is always beneficial for everybody local.
Yeah.
Cool deal. So all right, let's jump into this. You might have touched briefly, but you might be able to get a little more in depth. What's the biggest challenge you face right now, and how did you, or are you going to overcome it with the brand?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I'm facing now, and I think that to your point, like COVID hit and it changed people's buying habits. Like everybody's shopping online.
Yep.
And I think that I don't know if it had something to do with the stimulus checks or what, but a lot of people have jumped into the sports nutrition space. And the thing that's going to be difficult for them, like I said, I've already seen a lot in the past 5 years. I've seen so many companies come and go. I was even recruited by a couple companies to help them out, to help them like launch their branding and stuff like that. But I've seen them come and go because if people jump in trying to capture a piece of that pie, right? And if they don't have something that really differentiates them or a real story behind why they do what they do, it's going to be hard for them to succeed. And the reason I'm saying this is because now what we've seen is our lab partners, and we use like 3 different lab partners for different products. They're overwhelmed because so many people have jumped into the space. So where it used to take us 5 weeks for production of a product, it's now 12 to 14.
Yep.
And so that's been our most difficult piece is like we're running out of a blueberry cobbler protein, where our multivitamins went, you know, ape shit. I never would have expected that we would start, and we're almost out of them. So we've already placed our re-up orders, but now we're still, you know, we're going to run out of product, and we're going to be out of stock for weeks before we get it back in. So that's definitely one challenge. And then the second challenge is, which I think any small business faces, is raising capital to continue to grow. You know, now that we're trying to up, like we realize how fast we're selling through stuff, so we have to double the amount of inventory we're pulling in. And you have to be able to grab capital from, you know, different avenues to help keep it growing. But I think that, you know, in today's society, it's so much easier than it used to be, right? Like I think it used to be you had to go to the bank and apply for a loan, and if you were a small business, you were going to struggle with that. Now there's all sorts of different venture capitalists and investors, and you know, Shopify, which is Shopify Capital now, like they're throwing out money to people who have Shopify stores. So it's, you know, it's a good time to be a small business, I guess. But those are the challenges we're facing. It's how do I get product faster and how do I get more of it, you know?
it's a double-edged sword, you know.
Yeah.
It's good that it's going, but it's bad that it's backed up. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You
people tell me it's, you know, when people hear how fast we're selling, they're like, oh, that's a good problem to have. It's like, yeah, kinda, you know. But,
yeah, well, you know, I mean, hopefully if things kind of start transitioning when I don't know, you know, when everything kind of opens back up, which it seems like we're kind of getting there. I know Texas is fully open now. I think Florida,
yeah.
Here in Virginia, we're still, I don't know, we're
Who knows?
we won't even get into the governor here. He's an idiot. That's besides the point. But you know, once things get open back up, I'll look for that production, because the thought process for me is more people should be going back to work. You know, so more of these facilities should be getting more help, and in you know, hopefully those time frames will go down. Those, but who knows? But it's like I said, it's double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. You may have talked about this, but tell us about your brand's visions and values.
So, you know, vision's a good one. With values, our values are incorporated a lot from what we got in the military, right? So for us, it's always been about, you know, loyalty to our customers. We have a duty, and kind of like with that, I've seen, I mean, this industry's got a dark side to it. I think there's a lot of companies that do things well and do things right, but there's also, I mean, shit, there's been businesses that have been caught doing all sorts of shady stuff. So for us, integrity is a huge thing. Like, we will always do things the right way. And if we do screw up, like, we're going to own it. Like I mentioned, like we screwed up with the labels, and that was just from lack of knowledge. But that allowed us to figure out, like, okay, we need to contract somebody and make sure that we're following all of the rules and policies by FDA. But yeah, so integrity, loyalty, respect for the process. Like, and what I mean by respect for the process is, like, I see too many businesses who cut corners because there may be tasks or things that they don't want to do, or that they maybe it requires more work than they're expecting to put forth. And for us, like, we find that if we have a respect for the process, like the mundane things, like the shipping, like the label reviews, like social media, it's a daily daunting task, but we have respect for the process and we get into it, and you have to learn to love it, right? And then, what was the other part to it?
Vision and values.
The vision. So, and then the last value we have, we also have respect for the process for our customers too, right? I think that a lot of people out there don't understand truly, like, what a bodybuilding competitor goes through, or what a strongman competitor puts their body through. And so, you know, that's why we offer a lot of the formulas we do offer, is to meet an end need and to help these athletes with their goals. But the vision for us is we want to be best in class. Like, I look at, you know, the Redcon ones, I look at, like, the Cellucors, and they're behemoths in the space, but they also have a shit ton of money behind them pushing them forward, right? Do you know who Bear Performance Nutrition is?
Oh yeah.
Nick Bear. Yeah. So I'll give him a shout out. So he's a veteran-owned company too, but that's one guy in the industry I really respect and look up to. I mean, here's a guy that, in a very similar situation to us, we started our company with $10,000, no investors, we have no debt. And you look at Nick Bear, he did essentially the same thing. He took out a military loan. It was like a $20,000 loan. And now he's grown his company to where he's, you know, has a 60,000 square foot warehouse, and I mean, killing it, doing millions of dollars worth of revenue, and doing it the right way. And that's where we want to see ourselves. You know, we want to have best-in-class products. We want to have best-in-class customer service. We want to be a giant, but we want to do it ourselves. We don't want to, you know, take the investor route and have a bunch of other people on staff that don't really support our vision or our mission.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I agree. And one thing, you know, like you said, you know, as far as your values go, you know, having that personal touch is huge, you know, and I believe in that, especially smaller and medium brands, is if you can keep that personal touch with your clientele, because once you get to that big boom, you know, a lot of those bigger brands, they don't really have that personal touch. You know, it's more you're a number, and it's kind of just rolling through that. So personal touch is huge. I feel like if a small brand can kind of start with that and keep it through the growth, then it's going to pay off in the long run and push it forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's like when social media, for example, we hired a marketing team to help us out at one point, right? And they were always about the algorithm, and we got to do this, you know, you got to post this many times, and we got to do this and this and this. But relationships beat algorithms 100% of the time.
Yep.
Right. So if people are trying to focus on how do I beat the algorithm with social media, then the content's probably not where it needs to be. Right. Through us, it's like we can build the relationship through having the great content, through having that, to your point, personal touch, where people want to do business with us. People want to, you know, be associated with UXO. They want to be a warfighter. And yeah, that's where we'll see uncontrollable growth.
Agreed, man. Side note, James Mooney, we had him on the channel. He gave you a shout out and mentioned that you two knew each other. Yeah,
man.
Okay.
So he's a great guy. I love James. So I knew him from way back in the day. We were booth mates at a show we did back when UXO first launched, and he had Gunsmith clothing line.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it was a clothing line. I love their gear. And then they dissolved that, and he started Blast House Industries. And so yeah, we're always bouncing ideas and sharing best practices. And he's a good dude. Like, he's a genuine dude, and he's like one of the people. Like I said, this industry is crazy because you'll meet a lot of people that you really love and respect and have nothing but great things to say about, and you'll meet some that the opposite, right? James is one of those badass dudes, like just a genuine dude. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. It just sparked with me, but yeah, he gave you a shout out, so it was cool.
That's cool.
That you guys knew each other. Cool deal. Let's see here. So where can our viewers find you and your brand?
So yeah, you can check us out on our website at www.uxosupplements.com. We've got all of our products available there. You can also find us on Amazon. So we finally just got our Amazon store launched 2 days ago. So we've had all of our products on there, but now you have a customized UXO Supplements shopping experience right there. Retailers, we got about 35 retailers across the nation right now. We hope to see that grow, but we're going to stick to smaller shops. Like, we're not going to mess around with, you know, the GNCs or the vitamin shops. And who knows, maybe someday that'll change. But right now, we like to strengthen our profits where they're at. And so, yeah, you can find us at some of the smaller retailers across the country. Outside of that, you know, please follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We've got our vlog on there that we kind of show behind the scenes weekly, things we're doing for the Ruck 100, things we're doing with like shooting ranges, things of that nature. So we try and keep the content fresh, you know.
Hell yeah. And for everybody watching, I'll link all that down in the description so you can find it and click it, do whatever you need to do from there. So cool deal. So that was the last main question that I had on the agenda. I always like to have some kind of off the wall question for you. So here's that off. And this might fit in perfect. What has been your best Macgyver moment?
My best Macgyver moment? Oh my God, I don't think. Like in the supplement industry, or just
not in life, in supplement, whatever.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. Well, so have you ever seen the movie Macgyver?
Yeah.
Yeah, Macgyver, where he's like just a fucked up Macgyver that just jacks everything up.
Yeah.
That's more my style. I was pretty good at like. So all right, I'll tell you this much. So my first deployment to Afghanistan, we went to FOB Salerno, and it's in the middle. It's over kind of by Pakistan, right? And it was a pretty hot area. But we land on this FOB, and it's a base, and it's a blackout base. And what that means is like no lights at night. All lights are shut off because they would rocket the base. And if you had lights on, they knew where to target and shoot into the base. So it was a blackout FOB. So we landed there. We got our little huts, which was like a jail cell that I lived in for over a year, right? So it's this little hut. That's where I lived. But they had this little shopette on the FOB where you could go and you could get like just basic stuff like pillows, shit like that. So we're walking. I got pillows so I could sleep. And it's the middle of the night, so it's black. You can't see where you're walking. I had to piss so bad. And I tell my buddy I'm walking with, I was like, dude, where are the pissers? He's like, oh, they're right over here. They're right over here. So I went running into this pisser, what I thought was a pisser. And I've got like a carpet in one hand and a pillow in the other. And it was the women's showers, right? All these females in there, and they're screaming at me. And I'm standing there like a jackass holding the rug and a pillow. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, trying to apologize. And they're screaming, get out. So I went running out and ran to my chute. And the next morning, the sergeant major of that FOB was like, hey, there's some pervert in here breaking into women's showers. And I was like, oh, shit. And they're like, if we find you, there's going to be consequences. So I grew out this crusty mustache, right? It was just this crusty mustache that I had for like a month and a half, so I wouldn't be recognized by anybody or someone being like, that's the guy. It was just, so that was my Macgyver moment.
Oh, so you went under disguise, man.
Oh, yeah. I was totally undercover.
Undercover, man. Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Crustiest mustache ever.
Oh, hell yeah. That was a good one to end on. So the last thing is anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to go over?
No, man, I think we hit it all. It's been a pleasure working with you guys even. So like even seeing that Send It, that's the old label. Like we just continue to evolve. So now we have new branding. I don't have a bottle here right now, but we have new branding. I feel it looks aesthetically more pleasing. And we continue to evolve our formulas and everything else, man. And like I said earlier, I just appreciate that you guys do something like this to help bring more exposure to these smaller companies and help them tell their story. I think it's great.
Oh, yeah, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support. We appreciate just building these connections. That's the main thing for us is building this and getting information out. So we appreciate, first of all, I want to thank you for joining me today and taking some time out of your day. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for everybody watching, again, I'll link everything to reach them in the description. If you can't get in touch with them, get in touch with me. I'll get you in touch somehow, and we'll kind of go from there. But we look to do more of this, John. Maybe we can get together again and do something similar down the road. But I'll circle back with you, and we'll kind of go from there, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Corey.
All right, man. Yeah, you have a good weekend, man.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
Bye.